Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
Honey says, good morning. My son is almost 4 and has good language. He's not going to school yet, and he's not doing peer play. We're doing ABA therapy at home. How do we produce peer play? It's a great question.
Yeah, so honey, I'm trying to find that question actually.
It's way back at the beginning. There's a long...
Oh, there it is. Yeah. And he's 4 years old. Okay, good. And he's not going to school yet. This is actually great. So one of the... what I would, I'm assuming that he has some basic language, right? So in other words, he understands things that other 4-year-olds would say, most things, and is able to express his needs and maybe interact when playing with an object or a toy or verbally interact a little bit. What I would do is I would invite one other child. I would find a child, and he's 4. I always like for a 4-year-old boy, I always recommend, believe it or not, a 5 or 6-year-old girl to start playing with, because 5 and 6-year-old girls you will often find are little teachers. And little teacher is what you need right now. So if you can find in the neighborhood, or just, maybe another child doesn't have to be a little girl, but if you can find a cousin or a neighbor child who's about the same age and who is an older child, let's say, in their own family, a child who kind of wants to, shelter another child and bring them up and help them learn. That's the kind of child you need. Bring them, if you can invite them to your house, and then what we do, and what you can do as a parent, is set up play dates, right? And they're moderated, so you are always there, or an adult is there, and you basically begin a small game. I would do outside games at first that are fun for both kids, like 3-legged races, or just throwing a ball around, or anything that your child is also good at and the other child is interested in. And then I would help the children interact in that game. I mean, it's a 4-year-old, so you could do, duck, duck, goose, or just little games like that are a lot of fun. And follow the leader, that sort of stuff. And then as your child gets better with this one other child, you can kind of back out and allow them to interact on their own, always keeping an eye on it. And when that becomes solid, which I would say will take several months, and when you see that there's a solid interaction, then what I would do is I would actually introduce another single child to your child, right? I'm not ready yet to have 2 children with your child. I want to have your child interacting with another single child. When your child is able to interact with 1 or 2 other kids, then it's time to have a small group at the house. That means your child with perhaps 2 other kids that your child's familiar with. And the reason I'm very cautious about that is that I never want a situation where the 2 other kids interact with each other and your child starts to feel left out. So I want to make sure your child is closer bonded to those 2 individual kids, so they are interacting with your child. And then once you have that going, then it's time. So by the time he gets to school, maybe next year, then he won't feel as uncomfortable with the situation. Again, for our kids, I even prep that. I will take the child to the school over the summer just so they are familiar with the classroom. They know where everything is. They can kind of meet the teachers and prep whatever, as much as you can prep. That's where you get success.
Wonderful. I took that advice so to heart, and it's the best advice in the world. So honestly, because our kids need a place and a way to work up. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.